Chapter 14. Foreign Sectors. The second the brothers stepped from the transport stream, a saleswoman from Build or Buy Baby, the market's family planning business, made a beeline for them. Anthony did a double-take at his brother. The stores here employ drummers like this lady. They'll try to make a personal connection with casual conversation that turns into a sales pitch. Don't talk to them, ever. And for the love of everything, keep moving. The boys are out tonight. Their silence only increased her insistence. Where you going? Don't be like that. We can talk. Marcus found ignoring her harder than blocking out Anthony's seatbelt alarm, and cracked. Muriel. Thrill seekers, huh? You know, that's one of the characteristics we screen the kids for before placing them in our pageants. Child pageantry? An American tradition. We have different origin leagues for the kids. If you're looking to pick one up and think you can pass our rigorous background checks, here's today's schedule, she said, handing Marcus a flyer. What are origin leagues? He asked. We keep the kids in groups based on where they came from so they can relate to one another until they're adopted. Our second chance kids are abortion transfers, the hard knocks were all abandoned, and the CRISPR kids are built from scratch. It's never too early to become a guardian to one of these great kiddos. The moment she cut off the conversation, another female drummer took her place. Instead of building a kid, which will be a lifetime of work, why not build your perfect partner? At Twin Flame, we're pioneering the field of personalization dev. Development of what? You tell us what you want in a partner, and we create 3 allies. Allies? It's short for alliances. We create 3 for you. Meaning people? Humans only, said the woman, smiling. We get them to adulthood, then host a pairing ceremony where the 4 of you decide what happens next. You're not limited to one. We're predicting a 90% match rate when our first batch comes of age. The woman's pitch was interrupted by a male drummer. Why play genetic Russian roulette? Stick with what you know. At Carnate, we'll bring back a lost loved one using their DNA. I didn't think to bring that with me tonight. Marcus patted his pant pockets. If it's a genetic relative, we can get the data from your blood. Marcus regretted opening Pandora's box. A mob of drummers now trailed Anthony and Marcus as they traversed the sector. Why waste your love on a person? Said another female drummer. What you need is a pet tiger. Marcus stopped moving to listen to her pitch. At Eye of the Tiger, we modify big cats to live as your pet. No way. Yes way. And don't worry, statistically, our tigers are safer than having a gun in the home or driving without a seatbelt. Anthony grabbed Marcus by the arm and dragged him away. I have to register, that's why we're here, don't stop moving. Fine, Marcus fretted. These shops are doing advanced stuff to say they're all run by humans. That's because of FTAP. Which is? The Federation Technology Accelerator Program. It's similar to what venture capitalists do to ensure a return on their investment. So the Federation is invested in these shops? They don't have any ownership, Anthony clarified. They're interested in helping humanity further its own technological progress through innovation. Anyone with a store in the black market has access to FTAP's advisors. They can pick the Federation's brain. Marcus scanned the rest of the sector as he was towed along. What's reminiscent? It sells replicas of old discontinued toys. Wait, like the stuff from our childhood? Marcus asked. No chance we can stop there. None. Anthony's frustration boiled over. Their path was blocked by a crowd surrounding the sector's vending machines. These are popular? Each sector has them. I've never understood why people love buying things from a machine. Even the Romans loved doing it. The Romans had vending machines. Yeah, in Alexandria, said Anthony, for selling holy water. What's in these? Marriage licenses and divorce papers. A golden sky bridge carried the brothers over a farmer's market on the lower-level cross streets. You hungry? No, Anthony answered. Where does this food come from? It smells incredible. From Federation Citizen Farms. Why is this transport golden but the other one was white? We're switching sectors. Each has a unique color matching one of Hecate's 4 moons. Terra is white, Pontus is gold. On the far side of the transport, everyone sported bathing suits. Why is everyone here dressed like we're at the beach? Asked Marcus. Because we are. Pontus is the fitness center of the market, and has the biggest cycle, an underground beach wrapped by a circle like the one at Terra, except this one's golden and way larger. Have you been there? No. I hear it's just like the real thing, with open sky above and endless waves below. But here cute little animals swim up to be petted. Pontus feels like the large manipulated spaces in Brad's lab, Marcus thought. Everything was bigger in this sector, and signage for a store called Biohacked caught his attention. It promised physical perfection through steroid gyms, genetic interventionism, and extreme plastic surgery that included skin and hair color changes. Immediately next door was Guinea Pig, an experimental medical facility claiming to add decades to life through radical procedures. There were fewer drummers here, but one tried his hand with Anthony. "You gentlemen interested in an adventure?" Anthony said nothing. "Did one of the pet tigers from Terra get your tongue?" asked the man as he paced alongside them. "We're in a hurry," said Marcus. "If you don't already know at Vicarious Adventures, you can live weeks of vacation in just a few minutes. Let me paint this picture for the two of you. We walk into one of our large rooms, the lights are dim, the temperature is comfortable, and there's no noise. Absolutely none. You lie back, I flip on the tech, and you share an adventure better than the real deal. A minute later, you're back on your way. What do you say?" Neither responded, so the man returned to his storefront. Vicarious Adventure is an example of a tech stack business, Anthony explained. They couldn't exist without the Federation's technology. "What's set and setting?" Marcus asked, looking ahead in the sector. "Spiritual guidance with the assistance of psychedelics." Anthony slowed his pace. "Geraldine owns it." "Who?" Marcus inquired. "Mom's friend, Garrett's wife, remember?" Anthony was referring to the only therapist who'd broken through to Marcus during his troubled youth. "I sort of remember her. I think we only met once." "Makes sense. We'd see them at church, but by the time you came along, Mom and Dad weren't nearly as devoted to regular attendance. She's incredible. Come back sometime," Anthony offered. "Sounds like her store would appeal more to Jordan. He'd never come here." "He might for that," Anthony said, pointing to Immutable, an extreme piercing and tattoo shop. "Am I seeing things, or do those people glow?" asked Marcus. "Your eyes don't lie, they use radioactive metal ink." "What the hell?" "They claim it's safe, but check back in a few decades, then I'll believe it. The ink is activated with a low-grade electrical signal." "They can turn off their tattoos?" "Living light bulbs," said Anthony as the brothers approached another vending machine bottleneck at the end of Pontus. "What's in these? The crowd's twice as big." "Body parts." "Body parts," Marcus parroted. "Yes, body parts. They're mostly 3D printed, but if you need a kidney, there's a button for that. And Guinea Pig will put it in for you." Ignis was the final of the three sectors located at the Gateway Mall, and the penultimate one before Nereo. A red transport stream lowered them to a giant circular space surrounded by storefronts. The entire place glowed red, and was covered in fire pits scattered among sections of green grass. The sector name was inspired by its cycle, the Inferno Fountain. This was the first thing a visitor saw entering the sector, and even Anthony paused to watch people run unscathed through its flows of liquid fire. As they stood in awe, a server approached with large skewers of meat. "Greetings from your friends at Indulgence, the market's best bistro. Would either of you like to sample our panda steak?" Anthony tossed a piece into his mouth. "It's delicious." "Is it really panda?" Marcus waved the food away. "Bamboo fat. If panda isn't your taste, we offer lion, horse, giraffe, gorilla, sea turtle, or a dozen other exotic delicacies. All raised on sustainable free-range ranches. Everything's to die for." Anthony took a second sample and pushed Marcus in the direction of Nereo. "I thought you didn't have an appetite," Marcus mocked. "Never pass up a free meal," Anthony smirked, "especially when you're hungry." "I don't trust samples," Marcus justified. "You never turn them down at Costco. Costco doesn't serve endangered species. If they're being raised sustainably," said Anthony, "then by definition they aren't endangered." "Why's a restaurant handing out samples?" "The law of reciprocity. They give you something small and you feel obligated to buy something bigger. The drug dealers at Nereo are the same way. The first one's always free." "What's BFAT?" Marcus pointed at a shop that surpassed even Techmart's size. "Bitch for a day. You can buy people there." "Slaves?" "More like indentured servants with unbreakable contracts binding all the parties to their agreement. It's voluntary." "Is that the depot?" Marcus motioned toward another building on the far side of the sector. "Yep. Oldest building in the black market. It was built when the Transcontinental Rail came to town." "What does it do now?" "The Soapbox. It's part comedy club, part town hall." "I can't picture that," said Marcus. "When you can't hit someone to shut them up, they don't hold anything back. The Soapbox gives those people a place to bloom. It's hilarious. It's also home to the sector's vending machines." "What do they sell?" "Federation citizenship, which is free." Marcus scanned the other storefronts of the sector. Crystal Ball Financial Services shared walls with a Cuban cigar shop called Twain's, and an antique store selling mummified bodies and dinosaur fossils called Golden Age. Level Up advertised advanced degrees that could be earned with tech in months instead of years, and Utterly was the non-pasteurized dairy shop Anthony invoked earlier. One store made Marcus burst with laughter. Naked Ape? Panda fur won't go to waste. Indulgence also owns the Naked Ape. This place isn't at all what I was expecting. Marcus gazed one final time at the Inferno fountain. What'd you imagine? I don't know. Just didn't expect it to be this familiar, or safe. People need a place like this where they can be themselves. Things aren't always illegal because they're dangerous. Sometimes they're dangerous because they're illegal. The Coalition spreads a lot of disinformation about this place, especially about Ignis. Why? Asked Marcus. They associate fire with more sinister conspiracies. It's mesmerizing. Fire is humanity's first great technology. Ignite is one of the oldest words we know of. You can seemingly trace it back to when the whole world spoke the same language. I remember Dad talking about that. The Coalition isn't the only group that hates this place. Jordan and the Lyceum? Yes, but no. I was talking about organized criminals. Customers won't deal with a cartel when the black market has low-interest financing, customer service, and guaranteed safety. Let's move. The door to Nereo is over there. Anthony led them to the base of Ignis's clock tower. A large, doorless entrance framed by fluted stone columns supported an 80s-style neon sign with the club's name. There were no bouncers, no velvet ropes, and no lines despite being the club's sole access point. Beyond the entrance, at the far end of an empty corridor, was a solid black door, identical to the one in Brad's office. As Marcus and Anthony approached, the door activated, allowing a symphony of music and light to flood in around them. Their first glimpse of Nereo was intoxicating, drawing them across the threshold and instantly onto the roof of the Wells Fargo Center. The blue glow of the sector's cycle outlined the edges of the club. A giant, similarly colored circle occupied most of the trapezoidal-shaped roof, holding hundreds of dancing people inside it. The noxious scent of equal parts perfume and cologne mixed into one powerful olfactory cocktail. Do all the sectors have a cycle in a cycle like this? Marcus shouted over the music. No, Nereo is the only one completely within its own cycle, Anthony shouted back. That inner ring is where the fights happen, and it doubles as the dance floor. Free-floating honeycomb platforms followed the curve of the cycle over the linear edges of the roof with matching azure glowing outlines. The view from Nereo was dazzling. The city surrounded them on every side as the sun slipped behind the ochre mountains to the west, revealing the pastel indigo and purple twilight sky. Marcus was glad he'd stepped up his wardrobe. Well-dressed people were everywhere. A significant number of them wore masks. Some concealed their entire face, others only the upper half. Why are they disguising their identities? Marcus shouted. The fights are broadcasted live, Anthony shouted back. Registration's downstairs, stay close. Anthony maneuvered around people and furniture before reaching the roof's edge. Steps jettisoned into the open air, descending 3 stories along the face of the skyscraper. Each individual stair was made of a transparent panel, only visible from its glowing edges. The stairs didn't connect anywhere to the building, and there were no handrails. Vertigo paralyzed Marcus as his brother dropped over the edge. Anthony noticed he was alone and turned back to offer fraternal encouragement. You need to relax. That is such useless advice, Marcus barked. Do you remember the stairs in Cape Cod? Are you seriously comparing a 400-foot drop onto concrete with Nana's open riser stairs? You're scared about falling like when you were a kid and you thought it was possible to slip through the gap between the stairs, right? I want to hit you so badly right now. Marcus grit his teeth. Just like at Nana's, you won't fall. Anthony leaped like a base jumper into the open air above the plaza. Marcus's heart plummeted into his stomach, but his fear changed to confusion at what he was seeing. Anthony was hovering above the urban expanse. It's intense, you should try. I'll take your word for it, Marcus said as he cautiously stepped forward. Anthony levitated back to the stairs, leading the way to a long and equally transparent sky platform that entered the building's side through a glowing blue arch. They were met by a 3-story open space resembling something between a bar and Wall Street's trading floor. Screens endlessly scrolled statistics while inebriated individuals paced from place to place, many clenching lit cigars or steaming pipes in their mouths. What is this? Marcus was dumbstruck. The betting house. It's the Adult Swim of the black market, serving more marginalized tastes. Fight registrations in the back. Drugs, Marcus replied, plus gambling, sex, and violence, including leaked Call of Duty-type military training sims. It's also ground zero for X-Tech. What's X-Tech? Tech with a parental warning sticker. People trade their files through these voyeur pods. Anthony slapped the top of a device resembling Jordan's sensory deprivation tank. They're the sector's equivalent of vending machines. It's the closest thing we have to the Federation's cloaking. When you get in, you can be whoever you want while interacting with the other Voyagers. The networked pods are scattered all over the sector. So you don't know who you're trading with. Guy incognito. Anthony surged onward, opening a gap between them, which was filled by a female drummer. Are you terminally ill or burned out on life? No, replied Marcus. Well, if you find yourself in that place, keep us in mind. We provide a most blissful passing. Marcus stopped moving. What? Legacy Keepers is a full-service euthanasia and posthumous identity manager. Suicide. The woman handed Marcus a colorful brochure featuring smiling faces. We serve elderly couples, those with a terminal illness, and anyone else seeking dignity in passing. Marcus stood silently. Are you worried about the costs? She continued. Because you're a healthy enough young man, and through our partnership with Nudge, the body part reseller here in the black market, we can get you advance payment, which will more than offset the financial costs. There's usually enough left over to throw one hell of a party. To celebrate what? Your ascension to the other side, of course. You mean my death? Marcus countered. Yes, it's our most popular option. Everyone loves it. Then each year following your ascension, we send a holographic telegram of you to your loved ones. That way your memory continues to live on. I think I'm good, thanks. The saleswoman pressed a hand into Marcus's chest. We also offer an insurance option. You pay a modest amount monthly, and after 5 years, if you develop an irreversible infirmity or lose the zest for life, you're covered. If that's not your thing, our stasis service allows your head to be cryogenically preserved. It can be transplanted to a different body once the technology matures, in case it's the present world that's got you down. Marcus couldn't see Anthony anymore. He pushed past the pie-eyed people to find his brother at a kiosk surrounded by another sapphire circle. Glad you can make it, Anthony said, stepping into the ring.